6. Positions of officials at throw-in following a violation. Point of emphasis. When the game continues with a throw-in, two officials lead and trail must be on the side of the court where the throw-in takes place. Any throw-in is administered by one of these two officials. Points of emphasis. When an out of bounds or a violation is called on the side of the court where the trail has established his position and the game continues in the same direction and with a throw-in from the sideline, the trail administers the throw-in and all three officials stay in their positions. The blue team controls the ball on the opposite side. The trail and the lead are also on the opposite side. White 14 taps the ball out of bounds. The trail administers the throw-in and remains the trail as the game continues in the same direction. Point of emphasis. When an out of bounds or a violation is called on the side of the court where the center has established its position and the game continues in the same direction and with a throw-in from the sideline, the center administers the throw-in and becomes the new trail. The white team attacks in the half of the court to the right of the scorer's table. The trail and the lead are on the opposite side, and the center is on the table side. White 7 passes the ball to white 13, who is in the post position at the restricted area, but red 15 deliberately blocks the ball with his leg at the table side. The center calls and points that the play will continue in the same direction. The lead moves from the opposite side to the table side, and the trail establishes the center position on the opposite side. The former center becomes the new trail on the table side. He administers the throw-in, and the game continues in the same direction. The black team controls the ball on the half of the court on the left of the scorer's table. The center is on the table side, and the trail is on the opposite side. The center calls a foot violation on white 12 and signals a new 24-second period for the black team. The trail on the opposite side moves to the center's position. As for the former center, he administers the throw-in and becomes the new trail on the same table side. Points of emphasis. When an out of bounds or a violation is called and the game continues with a throw-in from the end line in the same direction, the lead administers the throw-in and stays as a lead behind the end line. The green team attacks in the half of the court to the right of the scorer's table. The trail and the lead are on the opposite side. The ball goes out of bounds and the lead points that the green team will throw the ball in from the end line. The lead administers the throw-in and remains the lead. As for the other two officials, they also stay in their positions. During an offensive play by the white team under the opponent's basket, the officials call for a jump ball situation. The original positions of the officials were the lead and the trail on the table side, the center on the opposite side. According to the alternating possessions arrow, the white team will continue to stay the offensive team. The lead administers a throw-in from the end line at the opposite side. The former center moves backwards towards the trail, and the former trail on the table side now becomes the new center. Red 10's shot on the fast break is blocked by blue players. The original positions of the officials were the lead and the trail on the table side, the center on the opposite side. The center assists the lead with the decision that the ball went out of bounds by blue 11. The lead moves to the opposite side and administers a throw-in from the end line. The former trail on the table side moves to the center position. As for the center on the opposite side, he steps back to the trail position. Points of emphasis. When an out of bounds or a violation of the offensive team is called and the game continues with a throw-in from the side or end line in a new direction, the lead administers the throw-in and becomes the trail. White 11 receives a pass in the air and lands on the opposite side of the court. The trail and the lead are also on that side. The trail is responsible for the nearest sideline and he calls a violation on White 11, who touches the line whilst moving. The lead moves to the place nearest the violation, and after administering the throw-in, he becomes the new trail on the opposite side. The former trail is also on the same side, but now as the new lead. As for the center, he stays in the same position on the table side. A throw-in is taken from the end line on the table side by the offensive red team. The lead and the trail are also on that side. Red 7 commits a backcourt violation called by the trail. The former lead administers a throw-in at the center line and becomes the new trail. Blue 5 makes one step in the front court and passes the ball. The center stays as the center on the opposite side. A similar situation happens in this play. The trail and the lead are on the table side. White 14 releases the ball from his hands on a jump shot after the signal of the 24-second operator sounds. The trail is close to the scorer's table and cancels the basket. The violation itself occurs on the opposite side. The former lead at the throw-in becomes the trail on the opposite side. The former trail stays on the table side, but as the center. As for the former center, he stays on the opposite side, but now as the new lead. Blue 11 receives a ball on the table side where the center was positioned. The lead initiates a rotation towards the table side. While the center reacts on rotation and steps back, eventually becoming the new trail, Blue 11 attempts a shot from under the basket. The new trail calls an interference of a defensive player and moves to the other half of the court to the new lead position. The former lead, who initiated the rotation after administering the throw-in, follows the play as the new trail. The center stays the center on the opposite side. The white team controls the ball. The trail and the lead are on the table side, and the center is on the opposite side. The lead calls traveling on White 10. There is now a new direction of play. The lead administers the throw-in and becomes the new trail. The center stays on the opposite side. The lead on the opposite side calls a 3-second violation on White 15. He should administer the throw-in from the end line. However, he administers the throw-in for the blue team from the opposite sideline and stays on this side of the court as the new trail. Blue 11 attempts a jump shot and the trail and the lead are on opposite side. For the rebound play, Blue 12 is the last player to touch the ball before it goes out of bounds on the table side. The lead moves to the table side to administer a throw-in. He follows the red players on the table side as the new trail. On this table side, the former center becomes the new lead, and the former trail on the opposite side becomes the center. The blue team controls the ball in its front court. When the ball moves to the opposite side, the lead initiates a rotation. The former trail on the table side becomes the center. From this position, he calls a 3-second violation on Blue 14. The former lead administers the throw-in, where he becomes the trail. As for the center, who called the violation, he stays as the center on the same table side. After the rebound, the ball goes out of bounds by a green offensive player. The center on the opposite side calls and points the new direction of play. He moves to the new lead position on the same opposite side. The former lead from the table side comes to the opposite side to administer the throw-in and becomes the new trail. When the new direction of play is determined, the trail on the table side moves to the new center position on the same table side. The white team controls the ball in its front court, but the 24-second period expires before white 6 releases the ball from his hands for a shot. The center on the table side calls when the violation and points the new direction of play. The throw-in is taken from the opposite side at the closest point to where the violation took place. The former lead on the opposite side administers the throw-in and follows the play as the new trail. The center stays as the center on the same table side. As for the former trail, he is on the opposite side and is now the new lead. The blue team controls the ball in its front court, but a pass made by blue 6 does not reach his teammates and goes out of bounds. The center on the table side calls and points the new direction of play. The throw-in is from the table side. The former lead from the opposite side comes to the table side to administer the throw-in and follows the play as the new trail. The former trail becomes the center on the same opposite side. The former center, who has called the out of bounds on the same table side, is now the new lead. Red 10 receives a ball from his teammate Red 8 on the opposite side, above the three-point line. Making a fake, he falls down holding a ball, but Blue 11 also catches the ball on the floor. The trail near the play calls for a jump ball situation, and according to the alternating possession arrow, the blue team will become the new offensive team and the play goes the other direction. The former lead administers a throw-in and becomes the trail on the opposite side. The former trail, now the new lead, is on the same side. The former center takes his position on the same table side again as the center.